Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Business Brews, Birmingham. I'm in the headquarters of Founders Advisors with Zane Tarence, Managing Director and Head of Technology Division here at Founders Advisors. Glad to have you here. Really excited about this conversation. Thanks for doing this.
Matt, I've been looking forward to it. Founders Advisors is a boutique investment bank and advisor. It really helps owners, Matt, of private companies either get liquidity, partial or all, or raise growth capital. So we're about giving founders of companies the optionality to have access to the capital continuum at the right time in order to grow enterprise value. Because man, I'm all about building sustainable, enduring value.
Talk to me a little bit about your belief in leadership, not only for Founders Advisors, but also when you guys go out and look at companies that you're working with and you're helping entrepreneurs get to a liquidity event. What are some of the common characteristics that you see from a leadership perspective?
Investors bet on the jockey, not the horse. It is people. And I have on my whiteboard, exceptional people create exceptional results. Our comparative advantage, and I will submit any companies, is the level of talent that you can hire and retain and grow. And so I think leadership styles nowadays, I believe the number one leadership trait is coachability and self-awareness. If any of us, I think have ever worked with somebody or had a relative, God forbid a spouse, that is not self-aware and not coachable, that to me is the opposite of being a leader. Right. And we don't have to work on that, because I can get defensive, right? But I think the best leadership traits I've ever seen that build amazing return on invested capital for their investors and their stakeholders and their team, they're humble, they're self-aware, they're coachable, and also they get their greatest joy, Matt, in seeing people that they've influenced and helped grow from the start of their career to the end. I mean, I've spent time with so many amazing leaders, women and men, who at the end of their career, all they can talk about is the people that they helped shepherd and mentor that are now more successful than they are. So that's a passionate topic of mine. If you just look at the Birmingham entrepreneurial landscape, I think we can point back, 50 years ago, 75 years ago, to certain individuals that developed such a network of leaders that they had influenced. And then you can just graph the companies that grew out of Bill Feathergill's influence, Tom Patterson. There's so many that have grown out of that. I think of a recent one, Daxco. Mm-hmm. When I look at the number of people that work for Daxco that have built amazing companies in Birmingham, it's phenomenal. Right. And that's a legacy and something, I think they can be very proud of.
So great. And it is really encouraging for this community to see more and more companies like that. You've started to see people from Shipped that kind of experience that magic of building a high growth company, being a part of that, feeling that, experiencing that, and then going, I want to go do this on my own. And you're starting to see more and more people go out. In some cases, it may not even be going out and starting a company, but it's going out and taking what they learned at Shipped, or what they learned at Daxco, or what they learned at companies like Fleetio and Theranest, and they take that and then they go from a manager level or director level and they start moving up, and they go in and they start really impacting. I just think it's so cool to see that growth as a community.
That's good. And you make another key point. I think exposure and experience creates desire. And so when we have these companies that work, these cultures that work, they created exceptional value for all their stakeholders, their customers, their employees, their investors. Once somebody experiences that and knows how it feels, it gives them confidence to say, this can be done. And so that, I think, helps people take the jump and the risk to say, I've been there, I've seen what it feels like to play at that level. Right. And you start developing a belief that maybe I can do this. So anyway, I think that success obviously breeds success. And the more, we as leaders can allow our people to experience that, the speed of the game, I think the more successful entrepreneurs we're going to grow. It's like if you grew up in a family that was functional, How much does that collapse time frames for you when you become a parent, when you start a family? If you've never seen it, you can be as coachable and self-aware and humble, but it's going to take longer. If you've seen function, and some of us all have seen dysfunction, we can collapse time frames. And that's the reason I think this modeling is so critical to our people.
Thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Business Brews Birmingham. Thanks to Zane for being here, and I hope you got a lot out of that. I know I sure did. We'll see you next time.